there are individual differences in concussions. One concussion can have devastating effects in an individual, and it can be only one, and the person can be presenting persistent symptoms for months or even years. There is a definite danger in multiple concussions, and we now know that the likelihood of developing degenerative diseases such as Alzheimer's or developing depression increases many times over the number relative to the number of concussions that one has had in their life. An MRI in fact tells us about the structures of the brain. Are there alterations in the structures of the brain, in particular regions? Are there lesions? Is there damage there? A functional MRI, in contrast, tells us about the activity of certain regions in the brain. The kind of experiments that we've done with fMRI is measuring working memory. And working memory is, as we've said before, it's this ability to remember what you've done so that you don't have to do it again in the same day or in the same week. So the kind of task that we have the subjects do is to present 4 stimuli, abstract drawings like this in a row, and then present a 5th one and have them decide whether that picture was presented before or not. The areas in color that you see are the areas that are activated. So you see that most of them are in the back region here and also in the front region here. These are athletes, it is a group of athletes that have had mild to moderate symptoms. So they're not doing too badly, but they're still presenting symptoms, so they cannot play. Now this group of athletes have severe symptoms. Things like severe headaches, severe memory problems. They're really complaining. And when you look at their brains in activity, you see that the activation patterns that you see in the controls, and even in the mild to moderate group, they're quasi-absent. There's no activation there. So this is extremely interesting because we can look at the brain, the activation of the brain in certain individuals that have symptoms, and then we can say, yes, it looks like these symptoms have a pathological basis. There's something wrong going on in their brain which makes them complain of these symptoms. They're not inventing these symptoms. It is likely, highly likely, that if you return to play too soon, you can suffer devastating effects. In fact, there is the second impact syndrome that has been well documented, where if 2 concussions are too close in time, the second one can have devastating effect and can even lead to death. So it is extremely important that the symptoms be resolved before somebody goes back to play, because then they're at a high risk of undergoing a second concussion, because their reaction times are slower and their attention is affected, and all these things that they're usually good at are reduced. And in very high play, then very high competitive play, then they are at risk.